Hi everyone, I'm Alison Cochran and I'm your Teen Services Librarian. I'm going to teach you how to cast on for knitting. Now I like knitting because it gives me something to do with my hands while I'm watching a movie or The Office for the 100th time, and I get something out of it, which is really nice. You can pretty much knit anything that's made out of cloth. There's hundreds or more free patterns online if you just Google free knitting patterns, and you can make pretty much anything. And I recommend knitting for anyone who can hold knitting needles and move them. Anyone can do it. I'm a beginner. I've only ever completed one project, and I'm going to show you how to cast on for knitting the only way I know how, which is using the slip knot method. So you're going to take your yarn, come in close so you can see you're going to make a slip knot. You're going to make a loop and twist it so that you have a piece of yarn behind it. You're going to pull this piece of yarn through your loop and tighten it so you have your knot. Now this is going to be your first stitch. And slip it through your left hand needle, and you're going to pull it so it's tight, but not so tight that you can't get your other needle through. You want to be able to knit with it. So I have a little bit of space for my right hand needle. You're going to take your right hand needle, and like I said, this is your first stitch. You're going to take your right hand needle, slip through that first stitch, and take the long piece of yarn, not the short piece that you use for a knot, but the long piece, and loop it around. And take your right needle and the loop that you just looped around that needle, pull it through that first stitch to make a loop around that right needle. And take the loop that's around your right needle and hook it back on to your left needle. And you can use that long piece of yarn to pull it as tight as you want it. And show you again. Stick your right needle through the top loop, the one you just created. Take your long piece of yarn, loop it around, pull your loop that you just made and the needle through that previous loop, and hook it on to your left hand needle, pulling on the yarn to make it as tight as you want it. One more time, take the right hand needle, stick it through the loop, wrap around that long piece of yarn, take that piece of yarn and the needle back through the loop that you created and hook it on top. You're going to cast on as many stitches as your pattern tells you to. Right now I have 4. If you count, you need to count that first slip knot you made as the first knit. And as you can see, I have 4 cast on stitches. My pattern requires 21 stitches to cast on, so I'm going to go do that. And then once you have cast on all of your stitches, you can begin knitting. I hope you enjoyed learning how to cast on, and maybe you can try knitting for yourself.